This is exciting. These people are wound up and excited because this is something that has kind of been in the making. In one sense, it's been in the making for some time, and then in another sense, it all kind of happened real quick, and I'll explain more of that in just a little bit. But this is just amazing, and this is exciting for me and for the people that are here. We're here before a live studio audience, and yeah. This is a rowdy bunch. I like it. But this is exciting. This is not only a program that will be going out to the national market, but also primarily here to the local area. And I'm so excited and so grateful for the city of Fayette supporting this. And this is kind of an exciting thing for the local area. And in fact, we have the mayor of Fayette, Alabama, right here in the studio where this is being recorded, here in the studio with us. Mayor Ray Nelson, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate him being here and being a part of this show. There's a lot of exciting things, I think, that's going to happen right here in this studio, right here on this show. It's going to be a lighthearted, fun, exciting show, but at the same time, we want to reach out to people in a form of ministry that they'll know that God is real. God is real. Amen. God is still on the throne. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So we do want this to be a show of encouragement, a show that will bring hope to a hopeless world. We're living in troubled times, and I'm not going to preach. I could, but I'm not going to preach. But just to say that we live in troubled times, and in the world in which we live in, we hope this is just another program that will bring hope and encouragement, not only to you here in the studio audience, but to you who are watching. And there's so many people I need to thank that has made this possible. When I said earlier that this has been a long time coming, this has been a dream of mine since I was probably a kid, a young kid. And so all these years later, it's came into fruition, and it's God's timing. It's God's timing. I believe this is God's timing. I really do. But when I say it happened kind of quickly, we got the phone call last week from our, I can officially call her my producer. She's Miss Edie Clark. And she called our office, and one thing led to another after speaking to my agent and manager. And next thing I know, I'm up here a few days later meeting with everyone. And 2-3 days after that, we have a live studio audience, we have a TV set, we have a studio, and here we are taping the new John Lanier Show. Wow. It really is amazing what can happen when God's in it. I've heard it said for a long time, little as much when God's in it. And I'm seeing the reality of that with this show. And I thank God for it. We're here in kind of a small studio, which is kind of cozy, warm atmosphere, and we're going to have a good time. I have been in gospel music for 18 plus years, and I thought for the first two shows, the first two shows are the premiere of the John Lanier Show, and I thought, how appropriate. This is my first talk show, and I thought it'd be appropriate to invite my old singing companions. I got my start in gospel music in '89 with Naomi and the Seagulls, and then from there, around 1993, I joined with friends Calvin Thornton and Tony Gore to form a new group at the time, Gore and Majesty. And wait till you hear this. Calvin and Tony are in the house. They're my I thought it would be appropriate just to kind of have these first two shows as our premiere and in celebration of the new show. Of course, to have you here to celebrate with me, and to have my friends Tony and Calvin to celebrate. So they're my first guest here on the John Lanier Show. And I'm going to be talking to Tony and Calvin, but we're also, would y'all like to hear a little bit of the original Gore and Majesty, maybe a little later on in the show? Well, all right. Calvin, Tony, a great time of ministry, fellowship, and exciting music coming up right after this. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Would you welcome my first guest, Tony Gore and Calvin Thornton. We go a long way back.
That's an understatement.
Welcome to the show, first of all, guys.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Isn't this awesome?
On your new talk show. I think it's great. It looks great. The people are happy. And good for you.
Did you ever think when you first met me when we was both snotty-nosed kids that we'd be on TV like this?
I've said it a million times. I don't think we ever expected anything that happened to us. We started out just singing and having a good time, and we that's how we formed the group. We were all kind of buddies, and we just wanted to travel and have fun. And we did it.
We did. We did.
For a long time.
How many of you in the studio audience remember Tony Gore and Majesty? In fact, one of our, I think the first weekend, that our premiere weekend as Tony Gore and Majesty, our premiere tour, was near this area, not too far down the road, because I recognize a few people in the audience that actually came to see us. See, they knew y'all were going to be here, so we got a bunch of Tony Gore and Majesty fans here tonight.
Good.
But we did. We had a good time. But go back a little bit before then, because I met Calvin. Well, I met you first. When I first met Tony, I was singing with Naomi and the Seagulls. Of course, I had less weight and more hair then. And you were singing with the Wilburns.
Yes, I was. I started my career in Alabama singing in local groups, and I was with a group from Birmingham called the Southmen Quartet. I think you were with the Southmen.
I was going to say, weren't you with the Southmen at one time?
Yeah.
But not at the same time.
No, I didn't know him then, but I was there, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, and then I moved to a family group out of Carthage, Tennessee called the Wilburns.
Yeah.
And I was there almost right at 5 years.
Well, that's when I met you, is when you were the Wilburns, I was with Naomi and the Seagulls. That's when I was introduced to you. Boy, those were the days back then. It's amazing how time flies. It's been, well, I mentioned earlier on the show, it's been a little over 18 years for me in gospel music. How long have you been singing gospel music?
25 years.
25 years?
This is 25 years. It's a long time.
It sure is. But you're talking about snotty-nosed kids. I'll never forget when I met Calvin. Do you remember that? I was singing, because Calvin he was the next to the youngest of the group. Jamie, ended up being the sound man, was actually the youngest. He was 16 when he started. Y'all remember the little redheaded fella. But Calvin, I first remember meeting Calvin. I was singing with Naomi, but I'd already met you, and this little fella comes up to me at a concert in North Carolina at a big stadium somewhere. And he just looks up at me and he says, "Hi, I'm Calvin Thornton." I'll never forget that. And who knew that he was really fascinated, a big fan of gospel music. I think you were singing with a local group at the time, though. But weren't you with Princeton?
Well, it was with the Southmen, actually.
Is that when you were the
Yeah,
South?
I believe it was a Wally Varner gospel.
Wally Fowler.
Wally Fowler, yeah.
Wally Varner's
Fowler.
piano player.
Yeah, Wally Fowler gospel tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's... I'll not forget that, though, but he was really fascinated with gospel music. Of course, I was the same way. I grew up just fascinated with all the gospel singers and gospel music, and he really thought it was kind of something special meeting me back then. And then
Thought I'd met a movie star.
And now you know you have.
It's amazing. The time has just flown. But you know what? Tony Gore and Majesty formed. We got together and formed. Officially, we formed in 1993. We didn't actually start touring to the public until '94. There's a lot of publicity that preceded us. But
we recorded too.
Yeah.
You remember, we started recording in '93, and we sent out our first single in '93,
which went to the top 5
Top
on the
5.
national chart.
Yeah.
That was before we ever hit the road, and it was the top 5 song in the major charts.
It was a song called "Thank God."
Thank
Larry
God.
Petrie wrote.
Yeah.
It was our first single, and when we started touring in March, the song had already went into the top 5.
Yeah.
So
Yep. And our first weekend in March, we were in this area right down the road at a high school auditorium. My, did we have a time. And it's just strange that all these years later, here we sit together on
this area always held a special place for us.
Yeah.
There was a couple friends of ours from here that knew a lot of churches. They had a lot of church contacts in this area. And I was telling my sound guy today as we drove into town, I said, the first year Tony Gore and Majesty was in existence, we paid all our bills around Millport and Vernon and Fayette. and then there was another guy in Augusta, Georgia, Papa Benson,
Yeah.
he passed away this past year, but Papa had a lot of church contacts. So we were in Millport, Alabama and Fayette one week, and the next week was in Augusta, Georgia, and the next week we'd come back.
We come back down with that.
So that's what we did the first year, and we had a lot of friends down here, and it's good to be back. It's good to be back tonight.
Good to have you here. It really is. Now, it was, well, a couple of years later, we toured from 94 to 96, and then I left the group at that time. That's when I left. And then it wasn't long after that. You went through a little bit of a personnel change there. Calvin left later on and pursued some other things. Of course, we never stopped being friends, but just God led us in different places. And but in what it was New Year's Eve. Was it 2003, 4, 5? It's just been in the last couple of years.
It's been 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago. Tony called, and we got together and reunited as the original Tony Gore and Majesty in Charleston, West Virginia, and on New Year's Eve concert that night. It was going to be a one-time thing, but the success, I mean, sold out, standing room only crowd. I'll never forget.
Jeff Steele and his family, the Steeles.
The Steeles, yeah.
Jeff Steele's the one that started it, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff called me, and he had been with you somewhere, and he said, you know what, y'all ought to get together one more time, just one night, and just blow it out, you know, sing all those songs that we loved through the years, and get together and just have a good time. So I called you, and I called Calvin just to see if y'all might be interested in doing it just one time, and we did it. It was New Year's Eve, Charleston, West Virginia, and man, what a response!
It was awesome. We had camp meeting that night.
About
great. 6,000 people, standing room only,
yeah.
And it was awesome. But we didn't stop there. We done some more. We actually done an encore tour.
We had so much fun
We did.
that night that backstage after it was all over, we were kind of just sitting around talking about how good a time we had that night on stage, and we just kind of looked at each other and said, wouldn't it be fun to try this again 2 or 3 more times? So that was 3 years ago, and we're still doing it.
Yes, I've got about...
Ain't nobody told us to quit, so we ain't going to stop yet.
We've got about a minute and a half before we go to a commercial break. So I want to mention 2 things real quick. First of all, is it all right to mention that if the folks continue to want to hear Tony Gore and Majesty, that we're talking about maybe doing a new album?
Yeah, who knows what the future holds?
So I got about 50 seconds. They're cueing me here. Boy, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to being limited on time. I like to talk. Now you know why they gave me my own talk show. I can talk. But real quick, a lot of folks here may not be aware of the fact. Now we had there was an article about you in the Christian Voice magazine and also in the Singing News magazine about your new venture. Would you believe Tony Gore has opened a restaurant in Sevierville, Tennessee?
Yes, I have. It's in Sevierville, Tennessee, right on Highway 66, right on the main 4-lane going into Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in the Great Smoky Mountains. So come by and see me when you're up there.
It's Tony Gore Smoky Mountain Grill and Barbecue.
Yeah,
is that right?
Something like that.
Something like that.
That's close enough.
Never trust a skinny cook.
That's my motto, yes. Right.
So next time you go to Sevierville, Tennessee, head up to Tony Gore's restaurant. You won't be sorry. I've been there. Calvin and I both have eaten there. Awesome food. We'll be back right after the commercial break. Tony's going to sing for us. Calvin, Thornton, Tony Gore, ladies and gentlemen. I had mentioned, as I was talking to Tony and Calvin, that Tony has opened a restaurant in Sevierville, Tennessee, Tony Gore's Smoky Mountain Barbecue and Grill. And, of course, we are still singing some on limited dates as Tony Gore and Majesty, Tony, Calvin, and I. But you're also enjoying a rewarding solo career. Would you sing for us?
I'd love to sing for you.
Tony Gore, ladies and gentlemen.
Savior calling, He stands right there and knocks at your heart's door. In your pride, you say you'll wait until tomorrow, and once again He's turned away like times before, and you'd say you don't need this man called Jesus, and you say you can handle your own life. But if you really believe the words you are saying, then tell me, why are those teardrops in your a great one? You put Jesus off and keep your life of sin. Now here He stands at your heart's door. He's gently knocking. You turn Him down and He may never call again. Hey, you know it's still true. We've no promise of tomorrow. How many believe that? You see, today can be your last chance to pray. So come now, while the Master's gently calling, and don't let your pride again turn Him away. Say you don't need this man called Jesus, and you say you can handle your own life. But if you really believe the words you are saying, then tell me, why are those teardrops in your But if you really believe the words you are saying, tell me, why are those teardrops in your
Well, we've got a few minutes left here on the show. I wanted to save a little time for you and Calvin and I to get together and do a Majesty or song or two. Would that be all right?
I've heard the story of the cross when I was but a child, but I let they just pushed away for a long, long while, until one dark and stormy night Yes, I believe that Jesus' blood has washed away my sin. And I believe His Spirit keeps the guides me from within. Oh, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. Oh, I believe it all. Many things that Jesus said I can't quite understand, but I know He included me in His salvation plan. And I believe I'll go to Him when I receive the call. I ever live on Zion's hill. Yes, I believe it all. I believe that Jesus' blood has washed away my sin. And I believe His Spirit keeps and guides me from within. Oh, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. Oh, I believe it all. Yes, I believe that Jesus' blood has washed away my sin. And I believe His Spirit keeps and guides me from within. Oh, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. Oh, I believe it all. Yes, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. I believe it all. Yes, I believe that Jesus' blood washed away my sin, and I believe His Spirit keeps and guides me from within. Oh, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. Oh, I believe it all. Yes, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. I believe it all. Many things that Jesus said I can't understand, but I know He included me in His salvation plan. And I believe I'll go to Him when I receive the call. I never live on Zion's hill. Yes, I believe it all. Yes, I believe that Jesus' blood has washed away my sin. And I believe His Spirit keeps and guides me from within. Oh, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. Oh, I believe it all. Come on, boys, say it. Yes, I believe that Jesus' blood has washed away my sin. And I believe His Spirit keeps and guides me from within. Oh, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call, I'll rise to live beyond the grave. Oh, I believe it all. Yes, I believe my soul is safe, and when I hear the call,